Ciao everybody, it's your boy Gables here in beautiful Florence, Italy. Well, today's actually a little gloomy. Still beautiful, just gloomy. And I've been putting this project off for a while because I wanted to do something like this weeks ago. If you saw the first video that I recorded about our impending travels at the time from December 15th, you might have seen that we were traveling pretty lightly. In my case, I had a luggage carrier, my guitar case, and a laptop bag. And through the education of travel, we've actually managed to pare some things down. So it's good that I waited, I guess, procrastination for the win. But also, I wanted to take a moment to literally unpack and do a quick inventory for myself, as I hadn't done this yet, to go through what amounts to literally all of my worldly possessions. Which, shockingly, to look at this humble assembly of clothing and such, and accessories, because I'm fancy, there are about 60 items here, which was a number that was considerably higher than I expected, but still pretty manageable. And this is actually really timely for me because earlier today, we were passing a little time, something we don't do at all really during the day. We ended up watching some Netflix, and we watched the special or the documentary for the minimalists. And while minimalism is something that has become nearer and dearer to my heart, it's also something I had no practical experience with previously in my former life as a normal person, with a job and a steady home and all of those things. So in watching that again, it really was informational for me as to how much my perspective on things and belongings and stuff and quantity of things and belongings and stuff has really changed from pre-homelessness to post-homelessness. There's actually a quote in the documentary that I really enjoyed where an individual that's done a similar thing, he's just kind of become a traveling worker. He does the same job, as best I can tell through the documentary, but he refers to himself as being home full. And he's home full because he still stays in a lot of different places. He just doesn't own any of them, which is kind of a sweet gig because it means you're not paying for the insurance, the bills, you're not doing the yard work, you're not worried about gutters overflowing. There's a lot of attractive stuff about being home full, I suppose. So without belaboring the point, I'm going to kind of jump in here just so you can get a glimpse of what exactly do I have left? What came with me? And I say with me specifically because Amanda's got her own division of stuff that came with her, and she packed, believe it or not, maybe even more modestly than I did. I'm known for being a little diva-esque, and I've had some stuff that I kind of parted ways with not too long into our travels, where I realized I thought I really needed this. Instead, what I really need to do is donate it. And actually, before I jump in, for those of you that have kind of followed along from the beginning, another significant happening that we experienced was that we arrived in Italy and immediately were getting settled in, went to our Airbnb, got situated, assuming that our luggage, which was not at the airport, would arrive soon. As it turns out, it took 12 days for Lufthansa and DHL conspiring against us before they finally brought our luggage out to Proceno, Italy, which is a rural community. And in that time, I had one change of clothes, though thankfully 2 changes of underclothes to get through that period of time. And when you spend nearly 2 weeks, and I would encourage anybody just to try this, try going 2 weeks with virtually nothing. Just, don't skip out on the important stuff. Don't skip deodorant, don't skip toothpaste or toothbrush. Keep that going, keep the hygiene going. But see what it's like, what you actually need if you only have, say, 2 changes of clothes, because it really altered my perspective on what I believed truly I needed versus what I can actually get by just fine with. So I look around and see about 60 items, and some of you may watch this video and go, 60 items, that's nothing. What do you do without all the stuff and the things? Well, thankfully, different places we stay in Airbnb, we just borrow temporarily other people's, bigger stuff and things, but I look around at this now and I kind of see an embarrassment of riches that I'm almost a little embarrassed to share. Like, really? I couldn't get down tighter on the number of possessions I've got, but right now I have what I have, and that may be modified in time. So starting from the far end, you'll see that we have a couple of recyclable shopping bags, which is something I never would have considered bringing on this type of traveling adventure. And then I realized really quickly, I don't want to get plastic bags every time I go to the grocery store. Interesting point that here, at least in Italy, you are charged every single time you use any kind of a plastic bag. Cool thing, they're plastic bags. Plastic are compostable and biodegradable, but still, it's a lot of waste I don't want to have to generate. They're also not super durable, like any plastic bag you get from a store. So that turned out to be just a really good investment for us. That we get a couple of bags, and now we know we're going to need the groceries. We know we got to eat, so we got the bags to help us accommodate that. Less fumbling and using our hoodie pockets and stuff like that. So we have the bags. On top of that is my Patagonia black hole for carrying anything that's a personal effect. So I have my head razor, because I like to keep the lines tight, as y'all know. I've also got my face trimmer, and because I'm becoming an old man, the old nose and ear trimmer, because again, you got to keep the lines tight, even in your advancing years. So those are the basic accoutrements that I carry in that bag, just to keep them separate and protected, and also because, as anybody knows that shaves, you don't want little shavings in all of your stuff, so, keep it separated. Coming up from that, kind of in the center section, I have both an RFID neck wallet and an RFID wallet. One of the reasons I went with the neck wallet, and I find I'm using this almost all the time now, is the wallet anywhere we've gone that's big city living. So let's say you're in Rome or you're in Florence. We go to a lot of train stations, we're in bus stations, airports, all of the places, and you see a lot of signs about, pickpocketing is a real thing, be cautious, be on the lookout. And I want to be really clear, I don't feel that it's any more dangerous or you're any more exposed in a place in Europe than you are in, say, Denver, USA. But it's nice not to have the very obvious, dangling wallet hanging out of your pockets. So having both of those has been kind of nice. And again, RFID, when you're traveling like this, you're silly not to have it. It's just a little extra layer of protection that we should all, strive to guard ourselves with a little bit. So the other stuff that's not clothing specific is the GoPro chest piece, and bicycle mount, odd accessories. But one of the things that's really important to me on this journey and in this experience is being able to share some things with family and friends, for those of you that are curious and interested enough to follow along in what we're getting up to, and perhaps, interested in what you might need or might not need along the way if you choose to do something similar. So I find that I have some GoPro accessories. Underneath that is my laptop, because again, to be able to share stuff, to edit video, photos, the whole gamut of things. I did need a computer that was a little newer than 8 years old. So I did get another computer for that, and that also just travels, in here with everything else. I have pretty much what you see me wearing right now: a pair of socks, pants, a hoodie, underpants, undershirt. I'm not a savage. You got to have a little of everything, protect yourself. But apart from larger items of clothes, you see like t-shirts, pants, shorts, these things, but I have one shirt that's more of a dress code, hoodie, inappropriate article of clothing. So if we're going somewhere that happens to be like maybe a really nice, sexy vegan restaurant, perhaps I don't want to wear a hoodie for that. So it has elbow patches, y'all. It has elbow patches. You cannot underestimate the power of an elbow patch in a public setting. I have another North Face hoodie identical to this. My primary outer layer, which I haven't really needed as of yet, is this pretty bright, colorful Terran jacket. Terran Designs is a newer company. Their stuff is super sustainable. They're all about recycled materials. I'm a big fan. This is also a large item of clothing that packs down really, really tightly and produces a lot of heat. So if we're going somewhere like Switzerland, which we're off to soon, it's plenty to keep me warm, keep the rain off, keep the wind out, without having to pack, you know, 2 or 3 different jackets, windbreakers, coats, whatever. It's kind of a good all-rounder without being a master at any one thing. Beyond that, 4 just regular around-the-house t-shirts, because, you know, I like to just hang out around the house and not necessarily feel like, oh, am I getting this shirt stinky that I'm going to be wearing tomorrow? Because gross, nobody likes that. Just up from those first 4 t-shirts are the North Face and REI Co-op shirts that are excellent tech fibers. They dry out super quickly. They're very durable, and I've gotten a lot of use out of those right away. 2 long sleeve, 2 short sleeve, and again, they just had a lot of outdoor potential for you get wet, you get rained on, which we got rained on a fair bit in Bresciano, Italy. You dry out so fast, you're not having to worry about getting that cycle of laundry. P.S. Dryers, not really a thing here. So just good to know that having more clothes that kind of self-dry quickly always works to your benefit. Undershirts, because layering has been something that's also very important when you have not a lot of items. So I have exactly 7 undershirts, just as I have exactly 7 pairs of underpants of, you know, a variety. I like to keep it interesting, keep it fresh on the underpants. Mostly fresh, but interesting is a good side benefit. For socks, I have an assortment of both heavier, mid-weight, and light socks. I also have 1 pair of ankle socks that I keep around just for cruising around the floor, because my feet pick up everything. And there's a lot of tile we're finding in Europe. So I don't like having, you know, stuff stuck to my feet, so that's what those socks are for. They are not practical, they're not terribly useful, but they keep my feet nice and smooth, and I'm all about it. So working back up this way again, more pants. So I have another pair of pants like these, but in gray, because green is pretty ostentatious. You know, it's one of the fancy shades. I have 2 pairs of the Terran outdoor pants and 2 pairs of the Prana Zion pants. Made these choices, and really everything you see here, made these choices in part because these are companies that primarily use recycled materials. They are more committed to sustainability, at least more so than, say, shopping at H&M. And it's all vegan. They're not using animal products, which is super important to me because I'm not about anything that puts any harm on animals. So it's kind of nice to know. I look at this stuff and go, okay, it's cruelty-free, all 60 items of it. So one complaint I will share with the Terran pants, this for anybody from Terran that's watching this, y'all could have, you know, given me a little gusset or something in the waist, because Daddy's voluptuous, okay? And y'all are over here giving me like a pair of pants that squeeze me. Like they squeeze me intimately, and it's not pleasurable. It's just a squeeze. So that's why I'm sitting here on the floor like this wearing somebody else's pants, because yours squeeze me a little too much. So just a thought, send that up to your marketing people. I don't know. Just mull it over. Anyway, shoes. I have exactly 3 pairs of shoes. Well, I have 2 pairs of shoes and a pair of flip-flops. The latter doesn't really count. But I know eventually I'm going to end up on a beach. I want to be prepared for that. So up front, I have a very old pair of the Salomon Speedcross shoes, and they're just pretty durable. It's a good spiky bottom sole on that, so I'm less inclined to slip and fall. Have had a couple of close calls though, depending on the kind of stones you're walking on. A lot of moss grows in rural areas here. It's slippery. It's really slippery. REI Co-op boots, which are fantastic. So from anybody from REI Co-op that might be seeing this, that's a great pair of boots. Y'all killed it. Just absolutely crush it. Comfortable all day, nice durable boots. Mud sticks to them, but that's my only complaint. And mud sticks to everything. So again, got my flip-flops, my luxurious underpants. Again, keep it fresh, keep it a little stylish, keep it interesting on the underpants. Up front, off to my right-hand side, I have 1 pair of super-sized athletic shorts, because again, Daddy's voluptuous. And I like cruising around the house in comfort. I don't like having, you know, snug, tight-fitting clothes. I want to come in, put on the laziest clothing I've got, and just chill in the evening, especially when, you know, we've been walking 10, 12 miles a day pretty steadily here too. I've got an all-arounder pair of shorts that I also got from REI, and those are both for hiking trails and also swim trunks. I didn't want to try to pack another pair of swim trunks because what are you going to do with those? You know, sit in a bathtub? Lame. I'm not doing that. I've got a pair of joggers just because it has been a little chilly here, and I had 2 pair of joggers when we left and decided those could actually be donated once my luggage had arrived, and made the transition to just having 1 pair. I have 1 pair of kind of all-purpose, all-weather gloves, because let's face it, you know, gloves are the shoes of the hand, and we want to keep those protected. You know, we don't want to have all kinds of moisture and dirt and stuff getting all up in here. You know, gotta keep fresh, moisturize. You know, take care of it. I've got a silly number of hats for being a guy that, you know, has no hair, but that's part of the problem. I don't want to get sunburned because that's really excruciating, and also it's the difference between having the heat on and the air conditioning for me. As any other bald man can probably attest, you're wandering around out there, you go, whoo, I'm getting hot up in this hoodie. That's fine. You take your hat off, you just turn on the air conditioning, baby. You're going. So I like to have a variety of those, and then the only other flare piece I have there is a balaclava, as I believe they're called. Funny pronunciation. But very useful item, so if we do find ourselves in really cold temperatures, as long as I got my jacket, I've got that, got some layers on, I'm wearing pants, because I should be golden. So apart from those items, I mean, that's kind of it. That is everything I really have apart from the hygienic items. So I use bar soaps, primarily, less waste. They also last a really long time. Shaving cream, I just tried to get a tube that I knew would be recyclable and would have at least, you know, 90 servings, if you want to call it that, out of the tube, so I'm not having to buy small servings of something like that I'm constantly going through, or maybe losing and then buying more. It just turns into a lot of waste. Deodorant, native deodorant's amazing. Stuff lasts forever. Love it, absolutely love it. And anything else is just, you know, toothpaste, and you know, you gotta have the beard comb. You gotta have the beard comb. You gotta, again, like to keep those lines tight. Gotta stay looking good while you're out here traveling around. Be a good ambassador where you're from, and hopefully where you're going. Apart from that, let's see. Got a nice little face mask, because this is just a reality of travel, especially if you're going through Europe. Restrictions actually tightened a little since we got here, and this is a great outside mask. This is an outdoor research also from REI, and we have a stockpile of their equivalent of N95 masks here in Italy, just so we know that we have the appropriate mask anytime we're getting on trains or we're going into stores, restaurants, etc. They don't take any guff off of anybody here. If you're not appropriately geared up, you will be turned away. It's not a joke. You know, play by the rules, follow all the rules all the time, be a good citizen of the world. You know, that's the thing I think everyone should strive to do, but we certainly do, because, you know, we don't want to be the no shirt, no shoes, no service people. Other than that, of course, you know, I've got, well, my little water bottle here, which was gifted to me by the gentleman that replaced me at my job, who's a delightful human being. It's only 20 ounces, but it's just been a good small container to keep water in as we're walking around, and it packs really easy, it travels light, etc. I got my Best Gal Blanche here in the case, and of everything that is being carried, this has been the biggest challenge by far. Completely worth it for me. It's a lot to lug around. There's no good way to carry a large guitar case. However, again, completely worth it to me. It has added a lot of just value to my day-to-day life, and I'm just super happy to have that with me. You may recall from the first video, again, I had a luggage carrier and I had a backpack. The backpack is no more because I was able to consolidate things like the laptop, all of our travel adapters, laptop adapter, power cord, etc. Into this handy dandy case, which goes into this. This is a North Face Camp duffel bag. This is the 90-liter size. And my luggage carrier, after doing the calculation, was about 120 liters of space. Liters to me is a weird measurement to use for space, but this apparently is a standard. I'm learning lots of things. And this comfortably holds everything that you see here, sans guitar, of course, and it keeps everything nice, tightly bundled, and adequately protected and secured. So I had to pick this up recently because the luggage carrier did not survive the ordeal it experienced from the time it went from the Denver airport to the time it arrived in Italy to the time DHL just apparently mugged the hell out of it and getting it from the airport to us, because one of the wheels was just completely crushed in on the bottom. And rolly case doesn't do you any good when you have a crushed in wheel on the bottom. So got this instead, and it more than accommodates the need. It doesn't have the wheels, but I can wear it as a backpack, which just means this gets carried, this gets put on as a backpack. It's heavy. I got to toughen up. I got to get strong. And it accommodates, again, everything that I own in the world. So, yeah, that's a really long way around saying that for those of you that were curious as to what we took with us, and perhaps most importantly, what didn't make the cut, this is what we were left with. You know, this is everything that I have, truly everything that I have in the world. And even looking at it now, it still kind of feels like too much. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope this has been somewhat interesting, and we'll see you later. Peace, love, music, and plants.